si je fais la brouette en Vogada. Dès que je soigne ma mère, c'est bon. Tu sois pas là, le nyama, le nyama. Personne ne yamo le nebe, le nebe. Nous tous sommes pas là, le nyama, le nyama. Personne ne yamo le nebe, le nebe. Avec mes diplômes, j'ai marché partout pour le worker. J'ai déposé mes dossiers.
Yeah, so let's start. As I was saying, so we'll try to discuss about Bitcoin. This is really like an introduction, and as I always say at the beginning, a very big disclaimer. I'm not like a financial guy, although my personal research, and I'm trying to share the information with you guys so that you at least have like some better idea of what Bitcoin is. So the way I want to follow is like instead of explaining what Bitcoin is, I would like us to see why Bitcoin was created. You know, and if we can explain why Bitcoin was created, then it's a bit like easy to explain what Bitcoin is. So Bitcoin is actually, the whole idea behind Bitcoin is to use it as money. And so when we say money, what do we understand by that? So money is like a way to represent goods and services, you know. So because right at the beginning, before then, people used to, you have like a farmer that is growing like maize, and you have like a fisher, then the farmer needs fish and the fisher need maize. So they will come and exchange. They will exchange their goods. You have like carpenter, he's one, and you have like the fisher. They will exchange. One will bring the services, and the other one will bring like goods. So that's how they were dealing before. But at a given time, it was a bit difficult. You know, it was difficult because sometimes I don't really need fish, but I need the carpenter. But the carpenter don't need maize; he needs but fish. So they needed a way to like exchange these services without going directly to the person who who currently also needs what they are offering. So the whole idea came of having a way to store like value, because for the one who is like selling goods, what you would do is like, okay, I want to sell my maize now, but I don't need neither fish nor carpenter, so I don't need any service. So I would like to store the value of my maize in like money, in the form of money, so that whenever I need the services of a carpenter or fish, I can go and give that money and get the fish, you know. So that's why the whole idea of money came from. So we needed something that can be measurable. So it means if I'm selling 10 kilogram of maize, I should know that is the equivalent of this amount of money. And this equivalent of amount of money is also equivalent to this amount of fish and this amount of service of a carpenter. So that's where the characteristic of measurement. So it's a means of measurement. We should be able to measure what we are like selling. There is also this characteristic of store of value. So it means my maize is not anymore like goods, but it's in the form of money. Okay, then it should be transferable. So I should be able to now give this money to someone and receive something in return. So that are like the three fundamental characteristics of money. It should be measurable. We should be able to store value. So it should be able to store value, and it should be transferable. So that being said, we have had many forms of money, many forms of money. So there is this evolution. Money has like evolved with time. And the question is maybe why? because we see money went from direct exchange of goods and services, what I was saying right at the beginning, someone like bringing cow or salt to get like the services of a carpenter, uh, or the goods of a fisherman, you know. Then the later on, this was not really good. You know, we could exchange, but we could not like measure the stores. You know, we could not really measure it. You couldn't like fix, okay, one cow is maybe equals to 10 fishes. So sometimes and there is also the transferable, you know. So it means if the guy selling fish is somewhere 50 kilometers away or 10 kilometers away, we need to bring all these things to him to be able to get that fish, you know. And store of value, it will means in this case I have to keep this cow and wait until I need something, and maybe in between I need to be feeding it, I need to take care, and it can die. And so all those type of things you could not store like value in this form. That's why money like is changing. Then you later on have gold. You know, gold was also a form of money that people will maybe go and give this thing and receive gold, and later on when they need that service, they will exchange it to gold. And you later on have money, paper money in the form we have now, electronic money. And the trend is now going to cryptocurrency. So to understand this evolution, let's see like some other characteristics that uh, money needs to satisfy, you know. So for money we need there is a need of trust, you know. So like the paper money currently, the one we have is just because we are trusting the issuer. So those guys who issued the money, we trust them, because if I issue my own money now and I start distributing to people, they won't really take it into consideration because they're not like trusting me, you know. So you need, the money should be rare. So you need scarcity, because if you could see money everywhere, it wouldn't make sense, because everyone can have now a lot of money and no one will be working like for it. So it needs to be scarce somehow. Then we also have the characteristic of transportable, which plays a role in this transfer. So in the sense of like transfer, you need to be able to transport money from one place to another. Uh, Identifiable, so and easily identifiable. So if I'm receiving money, I should really know that it's money, and I should also directly know the value of that money. Okay, so because if I'm receiving, if I can't really identify money, then it won't really make sense to, because it means people will get confused. So this very important, this identifiable characteristic. Then we also have like the robustness of money. So because if I'm storing money, if you say like a store of value, it means there is value in that thing, being a paper or being, I don't know, whatever, gold. It means there is value in it. And if that thing can just get bad anyhow easily, then it doesn't really it can't satisfy or it doesn't like satisfy the role of store of value. Because if we take like money, if you can just easily, maybe you put I don't know, 100 euro in your pocket, and you maybe mistakenly put it in the washing machine, and afterward the money is gone, you know, then it means that's 100 euro you have like lost that due to the robustness. Or holding it in your hand, if you like see in Cameroon how we use money from one person to another, if that money was like easily, maybe after 2 hours, one day, or the money is getting bad, you know. So the money should be robust. And so if there are many other characteristics, but these are like the five like most important characteristic we need for money. So if we turn back here, we can like have some examples to see to see, like in the case of cow, the transportable is not really like satisfied, the robustness as well, because these are animals, they to be able to store them, you need to be feeding them and all those type of things. You have gold. Gold is really not, you have also the problem of identification. People like have counter false goal, wrong goal, and so it's difficult. And if you want to carry a huge amount of gold, the transportation won't be also easy that way. And but there is already like a good trust in gold. People like trust gold, that is, or people like it. It's a valuable stuff. You also have like the scarcity of gold, which was a very good other characteristic. And that's why at a given point, what people were doing is like they will say, okay, let's have gold, but let's create money to represent the amount of gold we have. So it means every $1 we will be printing, we will also we should have the equivalent in gold. So it means the dollar is backed up by gold. And that was also very good, because you could not like print money anyhow, which because like printing money is easy, but due to the fact that it's like is buying to gold, you have like the scarcity that is somehow guaranteed, you know, and that was also a very good combination that we'll later on see that didn't exist at a given point of time. But each of these form were having some type of difficulties. The paper money, that's even what we'll now discuss, because that's what we are using currently. So this paper money, they call it fiat, and it has been existing since 1971 from the United States. Because back then, as I was saying, the money was like, they call it representational currency or money. So it means whenever I have $1, I have the equivalent of that in gold. But as from 1971, the United States decided not to bind dollar to gold anymore. So they could print dollar anyhow without having the equivalent in gold. You know, so it means by then everything now was shifted. So we needed to like for the fiat money, we are trusting like we are trusting the government, so like the central bank, because they should be guaranteeing us the robustness of money, identification of money. We trust our government, so if we trust them, we can trust the money. The money they are printing, so the paper money is like transportable. So you see that we already have like 4 of the characteristics we are looking for a good money. They were somehow like satisfied with this fiat money, because when you have like euro here, it's really like robust, and I can easily identify €5, €10, €100. And as we say, we always we can trust our government, trust our government, and it's easily like transportable. And this money have even like evolved to the point we don't really need to carry that money, but we have also an electronic representation of the amount of money. So like in credit cards, or the other bank cards we have. But the one problem here is now the scarcity problem, because given that it's not anymore bound to gold, it means the scarcity. So they call it like the control of the supply. So the government can just at any point of time print money. And many people used to say that that's good. They will print money and print it, and that's good, and everyone is like having money. But as we see, that's like the main problem people are facing now, and that's why people are going into Bitcoin, and that's why Bitcoin was even like created, because but we could also explain why they decided not to like bind dollar to gold, like not to bind money, because they were able to control the supply. So it means you could just like print money, give that money to people. People use the money and create value, and from that value, that's how you have like more. So like the GDP. So that's why you have really like more value. But with gold, it was a bit difficult because you first need to go and mine the gold. When you have that gold, from there you get the money, and before you start creating like value, you know. But due to this other form that people could just print money, it was a bit easier for government like to inject money into the economy. You know, you could have really like low interest rate and all the likes when money is like coming in. So, but this way of working is really very. It has proven not to be working up to now, and this like a very good picture I could find to explain this. You know, so the key word here is inflation, and this is how inflation is being explained. You know, 1970 you had like 25.25 you could buy a cup of coffee, and 2019 you for this same good you need $1.59. You know, as you can see, it's the same good, because we need to understand that goods, we have like at the beginning we have goods and services, and these goods and services, we need to have the same amount of money that represents these goods and services. But if we keep on printing money, it means on the other hand, we are getting a lot of money, but the goods and services are not increasing. So it means when we want to map the uh, number of services and goods back to money, we can only come to this type of thing. So it means here they printed the double maybe the amount of money, and now we need 2 coins to have a cup of coffee. And maybe when the money they triple it, we now need 3 coins for this same cup of coffee. You know, so that's like what is explaining inflation. This could also be good if they were like if they were printing this money and share it equally, but the problem is when they are printing this money, they are not sharing it equally. So this is another example. At the beginning, we have like 1 million goods. Okay, so goods here is like goods and services. And all the money supply we have is 10 million. So it means for one good, we need 10 points of our currency. So if it's dollar or euro or franc CFA, we need 10 to have like one good, you know. Then, for instance, you as a private person, before the government decides to print money, you have about 20 of your currency. Let's just stick to dollar. You have $20. So it means with this $20, you are able to have uh, um, two goods. Okay. After the print money and this inflation kicks in, you see now the one good will is equivalent to $20. So it means with your $20 that you could buy two goods, you can now just buy one. And that's what they call the buying the buying power. So it means your buying power has reduced. It's not as if your money has like depreciate, because the money you have can't really render the same service it could before them printing the money. And so this why people are so really like mad about that. It might not really directly affect people that don't have huge amount of money or a lot of money in their accounts, but you have big institutions that are really having a lot of money, because when you are doing business, you need liquidity somewhere. in times of like this corona time, in times of crisis, and so it means when they store money like that in the fiat way or in their bank account or wherever, and this type of thing happen, the money is like keep on depreciating, so it means their money is like reducing. And following the news this time, not only in America but also here in Europe, the government has been printing money like nothing else, and this thing has been creating a lot of inflation. So it means your buying power keep on reducing, but your salary is still the same, but you can't like get the same service or goods you were having before. And this is really the problem behind fiat money. And that's why people started thinking of a way, another way. So as we were seeing right at the beginning, money keep on evolving. So they always try to optimize it. And given that fiat is now having this inflation issue, people are now trying to create a new form of store of value, you know. And so that's like the idea behind this new solution that we call Bitcoin, you know. And if you like follow the history, Bitcoin came directly after the 2007, 2008. So I think the genesis of Bitcoin is about 2009 or something like that, where the paper came out and they started working on the system. So it's after this crisis we had, the crisis we had 2007 2008, and people were like, no, we can't take this anymore. And they now start saying, okay, we should think of a way where how can we have these characteristics. So the five characteristics we were discussing about, but now without needing to like trust any person. So they were like seeing that, okay, there is this concept of code is law. So what people have programmed, generally they were we like in the software industry, you always have like documentation. So they have documented how a software is working, and you have like the program, the codes that they have written. Sometimes you read that documentation and it's completely different from what is like being programmed. So we always used to say code is law. So what is in the code, that's what is true, that's what is like fact. And so it's like following this type of idea, people are trying to say, okay, let's build a system that can regulate itself all on its own, give us trust, should give us like transferable and all the other characteristics we were talking about. And this is now like possible using the blockchain technology. So the blockchain technology is a way of programming like application in a way that the application is not like running on one central machine, but it's like distributed across many machines, and it's being distributed across many machines. So we can think of it as if we have like so we have like an Excel, right? Each person have that Excel sheet on his machine. So whenever I want to transfer to Peter, for example, if I want to transfer 50 euro, I will go and write in that ledger. So in that Excel, I will write 50 euro, and the system will automatically synchronize with every other one on the network. So later on, you will see, okay, in the other person Excel, you will be seeing that, okay, I've also transferred 50 euro to this person. So there is this transparency. Everyone can see what's happening in the network. If the other person is like transferring money to B from his computer, he can transfer that money. And so you enter the transfer, and we can always see, okay, this person has transferred this much to this one, this much to this one, and that's like the balance of the person. But you could like ask, okay, if I can now maybe write in my Excel that I've received this much from maybe John, even though John haven't like transfer me the money, So just in order to trick the system, given that I can change everything because it's running on my machine, I can go and change everything. But that's where the blockchain is like coming into play. Before they record or before they validate this type of transaction, all the other system will like, or the majority of the people in the network have like to agree on this transaction. So they need to validate it. So you need like 51% of all the other nodes on the chain to validate on the network to validate that transaction. Um, this part is really, because if you want to really go deep in the technicality of this, it might I think is out of scope of this introduction. But maybe the first point we can think of is just to say, let's just say for instance, we don't need to trust anyone. So Bitcoin, or let's just say for instance, we are believing that, okay, Bitcoin is like secure. Okay, so when we go, if we are taking that assumption, then it means Bitcoin in this case, we can trust it, So that's like the first point. We can trust. So if we come back here, we can trust Bitcoin. And the other point is scarcity. How is that? If we continue with that assumption that we can trust this system because it has been proven so far to be secure, there is now the point of scarcity. So Bitcoin was programmed in such a way that it's like this same idea of gold. So it means the Bitcoin, you don't just print Bitcoins anyhow. There is this point of mining the Bitcoin. So you mine Bitcoin, which means there are people, because as I was discussing, you need people like to validate a transaction following given rules, So there are rules that are transparent to everyone. And this miner, you can also be a miner. So you can set up your computer, you download the Bitcoin, you configure the Bitcoin system, you configure it in such a way that you are playing the role of a miner, and you'll be having rewards. Each time you validate a transaction, you will be having rewards. And these rewards are in Bitcoins, and that's what is like creating new Bitcoins. So the system is like, okay, you need to keep the system secure. Why doing that? You generate new Bitcoins. And and the Bitcoin total has been capped to 21 million. So we won't have more than 21 million of Bitcoin. So with time, each after I think each after every 4 years, you have like Bitcoin. The rewards of a miner of miners keep reducing, So it means with time, maybe now the reward, I don't know, is let's just take for example 5 Bitcoin, but later on the rewards will now halve to 2.5 after 1.25 and so on and so forth, 75. So it will keep on reducing such a way that it will become scarce and scarce and scarce. So for Bitcoin to satisfy the match between goods and value, we just need to only increase the price of Bitcoin, when it's getting like scarce. And these other 3 points, transportable, identifiable, and robust, given that we are in the digital world, we don't really need it, So in short, it's given. You don't really need to see to say, okay, I need to identify Bitcoin. You have one Bitcoin is one Bitcoin, and it's digital currency. So that are just numbers, and you don't really need this robustness. And that are like the characteristic that Bitcoin is bringing in. And if all this is true, because as I was saying, we still have the assumption of trustworthiness that is secured, and if that's true, like Bitcoin is really more or less a very good alternative, because it's like satisfying all the other characteristics. Um, be- so we really need to the value, because even the fiat money we have now, you also have counterfeit. So because money that people are just creating, you have false money running into circulation. We used to know that in Cameroon, even here in Europe. That's why you have the European Bank or the central bank always trying to optimize the security of this printed money. You also have these same issues that is really uh, you can have fake money and all the others. But if Bitcoin can really guarantee us this security, then it means it's really good. It means it's really better, far more better, because we don't really have the problem of inflation. Then we have the security problem also being tackled. And there are many other stuff people are like appreciate, because Bitcoin, you have like the transparency. It's transparent. You can take Bitcoin, you can read the code, you know everything that's happening in the system. No one is like controlling Bitcoin, because you can be part of the network as per today. If you have invested in Bitcoin, you can set up your whole system in such a way that you at least have a say. Although, okay, you need to have a more bigger system to be able to really compete with the others, because now miners are really like companies. It's not like before, many people could just set up, you could easily buy something from Amazon, a complete setup that you can put it in your room and be mining Bitcoins. So nowadays, the thing has changed, evolved, and you have a lot of people here in Germany, you have in America, you have in China, that you have miners really across the world in South Africa. I think also in South America. So everywhere. And that's also a good thing. So no system, because people always think, okay, the government can shut it. Government, the highest thing a government can do, government can maybe bound the way you buy Bitcoin, because nowadays to buy Bitcoin you need to go to a Binance, so you need somewhere. Also do it peer to peer. So if you know someone who is like having Bitcoin, you can give him money directly and he transfer you Bitcoin. So you don't really need all those systems, because those systems are central system. That's why the government can attack them. But government can't stop Bitcoin as per now. They can only stop people around it, or they can maybe try to challenge the system, because there are many theory that the government can buy a lot of miner, can set a very strong mining capability that can attack the system. That's also somehow possible, but now the cost of that, because that's also something it was taken into consideration. To be able to challenge the system, you need to invest a lot. And the question is any government wanting to do that? Because it's not like normal only the problem of Germany, it's also a problem of China. And that's why you have seen now the story is like now changing. You now have governments that are also saying, okay, we need to create our own cryptocurrency, we need also this, we need that, you know. And so to show you where Bitcoin is, so like seeing the capitalization, so it means the amount of money being invested in Bitcoin. You can understand that we are still right at the beginning. This Bitcoin, I think maybe as it has evolved now, if I can quickly, so if I check, the Bitcoin is now about 900. So it's already 900 billion. So not the 64 anymore. And you have the general crypto is about, it's already like trillions now. And what people are like, the target of Bitcoin is not really like money. It's not crypto. It's not like this traditional money, but people are seeing Bitcoin just as, or the role of Bitcoin actually is like store of value, and this is like the market Bitcoin is targeting. And so if you see, it's really like still at the beginning, because when you have a market, you have like the early, so you have people who are just getting like in touch, then we haven't like started the critical, so the mass critical adoption. We are still really at the genesis of this. And so this is like what Bitcoin is targeting, about a market capitalization of 7.8 trillion. I think this is also a bit old, and so what do we do from there? And if I'm comparing Bitcoin to gold, it's also because people are always saying like Bitcoin is too volatile. No, it's not good and it's not that. But if we see gold, this like is like a screenshot since 1980s. This drop like this. I don't know if I can have if, but this drop like this was about 50%. So you have like going up from here, you have a 50% drop, and even if you take it further, so it means the value of gold dropped this much, and the market goes up, down, goes up. Oh, these are just like peak. You can see it here as well. If you compare it maybe from year to year, this should be not less than 40% drop. And this is what we are also seeing in crypto, although crypto is a bit also really like, but it's normal in markets, But the general idea is like, this is what we should be looking at. As for me, each one who is going into Bitcoin should understand that this is the market. Bitcoin is like looking for a share, and if you are following this graph, we are somewhere, I don't know, here, and this is where we are heading to. So if you are investing in Bitcoin and thinking, okay, you can wake up tomorrow and this thing is just 70% down, as you can wake up and it's 80% plus. It's really currently, the market is not really that stable, because people are still like testing really what was Bitcoin all about. But the early adopters are the one that will have the gain of this thing. You take a bigger risk, and you obviously have a better reward, because there is someone, I think this is a very good joke. People are saying it's too late. Bitcoin is now going to 50,000, and people are saying it's too late. And this is too late is since 2015 that people are saying that. It's too late because Bitcoin was 10K. It's too late because Bitcoin was 15K. It's too late because Bitcoin was 20,000, because it was 30,000. And we are now 2021, and someone is saying it's too late because Bitcoin is 50,000. So I think just seeing facts, you can already know, okay, 2021 will be saying the same story, or 2025, and I think maybe I will discuss about my strategy after answering like questions. So I think that's maybe all I could present, and let.
Ça va, mais ça fait quoi si je fais la brouette en Vogada? Tant que je soigne ma mère.